Okay, it's not all one-way traffic. The poll today had Chris Minns trailing a long way behind Dominic Perrottet. It seems that voters have forgiven him his Nazi costume for his 21st birthday, which was a massive storm in a teacup. There are now reports this week that Stuart Ayres may return to Cabinet. It seems Labor want to exploit that as it might be a winner for them. Do you think these things are going to actually hurt the Liberal Party, or is this just a natural state of affairs that opposition leaders are always behind in the preferred Premier ranks?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right, mate. You correctly identified. We, it's hard to cut through in opposition. Let's just put it that way. Obviously a lot more people know who the Premier of New South Wales is than the opposition leader. When the election campaign kicks off, they start switching on and going, well, what's the choice here? And I think as that happens, more people are going to get to know Chris, and I think people are going to like what they see. So I'm not too worried about that figure at the moment. I think over the next 60 days, I reckon there will be a lot more people focusing on the choice between the Premier and the alternate Premier. And once they start really getting to know Chris, hearing what he has to say, I'm feeling very positive about it. I mean, look, I agree that the Nazi costume isn't going to be a big factor. We've said that we think the Premier's apology was genuine, and that the conversation should be about the issues: cost of living, housing, tolls, our schools, our hospitals, on the future, not on the past. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue, but I think that as people get to know Chris over the course of the next 2 months, they're going to be saying, yeah, let's give this guy a go, because I think he does have some good ideas.
All right, now one of your former Labor colleagues, Tanya Mihailuk, left the Labor Party last year. There was a bit of a storm around it. She announced last week she's running with Mark Latham on the One Nation upper house ticket. And she said the Labor Party had lost its way to the left-wing extremists and property developer mafia. How do you respond to that? And how do you think voters should take those comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think voters should look pretty closely at the context in which they were provided. I mean, I don't know about that well-known alliance between left-wing extremists and property developers. I don't think those comments make a lot of sense. I think, unfortunately, Tanya's had a, sort of falling out with some of her local branch members and has, decided to spit the dummy and join One Nation. And considering she comes from one of the most multicultural parts of Sydney, I think that's a strange choice. And sure, she's taking a few swipes on the way out. I think people expect that. I think they should be pretty dismissive. I don't think there is a lot about Labor's agenda that bears those comments to be accurate. I mean, I ask her, what about, I'll talk about cost of living, housing, tolls, bringing the, UFC to Sydney. I don't understand what she is talking about, other than, she's a bit bitter and she's a bit angry and she's joining another political party and she's trying to take a swipe at Labor. I think people understand that.
Well, one of the things, Rose, that I think there is a legitimate criticism and a concern is that there's going to be an economic impact for some in her former seat in Western Sydney if there's this wokish rush to renewables policy. Now, it's hard to criticise Labor because you've got the Liberals that have rushed into this space as well. But, renewables policy might suit the woke, but it doesn't satisfy business, it doesn't satisfy consumers who are going to have to pick up these huge energy bills and the reliability that goes with it. So how are you going to address that issue?
I mean, we've always said, that we think the future of energy in New South Wales is renewable energy, but we've also been incredibly clear that that needs to be, really clearly focused on whether people can afford to pay their energy bills. We don't accept spiking energy bills in New South Wales. And to be perfectly honest, I think a big part of that has been because of this government's privatisation agenda. I think that has actually played quite a substantial role in what we've seen in energy policy in this state. You compare, some of the increases that we've seen in New South Wales with some of the other states who have not privatised their entire energy network, and there's quite a big difference. So, look, you're right. We need to be honest and have conversations about how to have a smart and sensible transition that doesn't impact people who simply can't afford to pay more for their energy. But if we're having an honest conversation, that's also a discussion about privatisation, because there is no doubt that that has also played a substantial role in what we are seeing in the energy debate in New South Wales.
All right, Rose Jackson, I've got to leave it there, but thank you for making yourself available tonight, and I look forward to having another chat with you over the next 60 days. Long days, as you pointed out.